Hi, thanks for tuning in to Home Buying 101. I am your host, Realtor Hope Stafford, and I am going to talk this week about getting an offer accepted in this crazy market. It is definitely a strong seller's market. However, with rates still being some of the lowest in history, it's still a very good time to buy, keeping your monthly mortgage pretty affordable. So, some tactics that you can use to get your offer accepted when you're competing against, we'll say, 25 other offers. The first is that you have to get pre approved before you go looking at houses. There's no time in this market to spend 3 days trying to get all your documents together to get pre approved. Second, find a fantastic realtor who has strong negotiation skills and writes really clean contracts. Me. Then you also have to be realistic in this market. It isn't a market where you're going to get a well below ask price on a house. You're not getting that kind of deal per se. Almost all houses are going in the first weekend they're on the market and for well above the asking price. Think of it more as an auction right now. So that base price that you see, that's the minimum bid. More than likely someone's going to outbid you if you put in at that price. So some things you can do to make your offer stronger. Number one is definitely have enough money to make your offer strong. So if a house is listed at 350 and the max you can possibly go is 350, it is unlikely you are going to be able to get that house. So the things you can do are look at homes that are priced closer to 300 so that you have some wiggle room to go all the way up to that 350, and that will make your offer much more competitive. Again, it's a base price we're looking at in this market right now. The next thing you need to do to make your offer more competitive is you can potentially, some agents don't like these. I generally don't think that there's anything wrong with putting them in, is use an escalation clause. So if they were looking at that house for 300, you could say, my offer is at 300, but if there is any other offer, I will put in $1,000 more than that offer up to 350. So an offer comes in at 325, you only pay 326. Then the other things you can do to make your offer more competitive, we're seeing a lot of appraisal gap waivers, which means the appraisal amount is what your lender is going to loan you money for. So say you're putting 10% down, but you have an extra 10,000 in your bank account that you could use. Then what you would do is say, I'm putting in an offer of 300,000. I will go up to the 350. The offer comes in at 325 that you can beat by 1,000 due to your escalation clause. You go up to 326. You can put in a $10,000 appraisal gap coverage. So say it only appraises for 315. So what you'll do is you'll pay that extra 10,000. So you'll end up paying 325. The seller will have to lower the price down to 325. Now, that doesn't guarantee the seller's willing to do that. And they may say no. And then you need to come up with that, extra $1,000 to make it an $11,000 appraisal gap. Otherwise, you can pull out of the contract and they can put it back on the market. So that's another way, is with appraisal gap. You could cover the entire thing as well if you have the money. So lots of people have a lot of money in this market. Last year during the pandemic, nobody's been going on vacation. Nobody's been going out to dinner as much. So people have a lot of expendable money. And so, a house might get offers 100,000 over asking with a complete appraisal gap waiver. You either can or can't compete in that. And that's just the way that is. But then another thing you can do to make your offer much more competitive is with regards to inspection. So a lot of inspections are being waived, which I don't recommend ever not doing an inspection. But you can still do an inspection, know what's wrong with the house, and walk away if there's, $200,000 worth of things wrong with the house. Unlikely. But if, say, there was only $3,000 worth of stuff wrong with the house, you can pay for that over time if it wasn't anything that needed to be done urgently. So you can say in an inspection, as part of your offer, that you will not ask for anything above $5,000, or that you won't ask for anything at all. Or you could say only things pertaining to health, safety, and structure. So those are some ways that you can make your offer more competitive. And then there's also the silly things that you can do to make your offer competitive. I've seen people throw in that they will provide the sellers with a pizza dinner on the night that they move. Or you can also offer to pay, realistically, more seriously, you can offer to pay some closing costs for the seller. You could offer to pay for their moving. There's many different things that you can do, even if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to play with appraisal gaps and offering over asking. Those offers generally will be out most anything. And if you have that, great. Anyway, please let me know if you have any more questions for me, and good luck and happy house hunting.